like, okay, this looks like the normal crowd. And then I was like, wait, no, it doesn't look like the fully normal crowd. Like, there's more people than just our swim team here. But they were athletes. They were actually on the track team and like cross country. There's a lot of crossover there. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That's not a big deal. There's no reason why I should be like kind of concerned about that. And I've seen most of them in the training center. Like, there's no problem. We're all the same. We all have the same goals, morals, right? You think. And so I was just like, whatever, I'll take the drink. Like, I know the guy. Like, it should be okay. Like, I've seen him. There's no, he's a teammate. Not technically on my team, but he goes here. So basically, after that, everything becomes like just spots and moments that I remember. I have pieced together things from like actually moments from that night that I remember, and then also I've experienced post-traumatic stress disorder since then, and I have flashbacks, and then also nightmares, a lot of nightmares, and that's where people talk about that you can learn a lot from your dreams, and I know that sounds kind of crazy and ridiculous, but it's honestly the truth. The first year was literally hell. And it's still hell sometimes too. I can't get out of bed some days. I feel like I'm stuck in bed, and for no good reason. I guess I started realizing I used to place myself when I was at FSU and myself now next to each other, and like literally under a microscope, and look at them and be like, oh, well, that's not the same, that's not the same. And it takes everyone a different amount of time, and unfortunately it took me 2 years, and my 2-year anniversary, and I had kind of already in the months prior to this past October decided that I needed to love myself. And it took months to kind of get there. I'm still not there yet, but I literally hated myself after this happened. And that's just typical of a victim, and just, when you do something wrong, you get mad at yourself. And I felt like I did something wrong, and it took me over 1.5 years to realize that I didn't do anything wrong. First off, maybe I drank too much, maybe I wore the wrong thing, but not like that. You can't even account like that. That doesn't matter. My actions do not matter for what someone else did to me in this case. I could have done everything differently, and that might have still happened. Who knows? Like, it just like, was not my prerogative. Apparently he wanted to do something like that night, and it just happened. So I realized I needed to love myself, and I worked really hard to do that. I think it took me going through every kind of other trial. Failing classes happens, losing friends the first year after it, even beyond the friends that I lost back at FSU. Just not knowing how to hold a relationship the right way, really, because I'm just so lost. I had to find myself all over again, and I finally did. I can't even tell you if there's one specific reason why, but I can tell you that I worked hard every day at it. I would wake up, sometimes I wouldn't wake up until the afternoon, but I would write down 5 things that I liked about myself. It had to be different every day, and sometimes, I would overlap after weeks, but I had to write down things that I loved about myself and things that I found unique and special about myself that I could love again. And I started falling in love with certain aspects of myself, and I would put myself in good situations and try to be around the right people. And sometimes I failed miserably, trust me. But after about that first 1.5 years, and I did that for a few months, I started to fall in love with a new me, the me I am now. And I'm not perfect by any regards, but I love myself as I am now, and I love myself as I was when I was at FSU. But and they're completely different people. People are like, oh, like there's no way you were different back then. Well, I was, and I loved who I was then, but I love who I am now, and that is how I've been able to speak about what happened to me.